Hey everybody, welcome to another maths lesson with me, Mr. Spencer. Okay, before we get into our main lesson, what I want you to do is get your maths brains engaged and going by having a go at our starter activity here. Okay, make sure that you write your answers down and send them in to your teachers as part of your portfolio work. Okay, pause the video here for as long as you need to before moving on to the next part of the lesson. Okay, so we started looking at clocks yesterday as a year 4 cohort, and we're looking today more in depth at a certain type of clock, okay? Something called an analog clock, which we're going to go on to in a moment, okay? Your learning objectives at the top for you to write in your book. Your success criteria. Hopefully by the end of this lesson we will all be able to read, write and convert time using an analog clock, okay? Down the left hand side you will see minute, second, hour and analog as being really important vocabulary that we're going to use as part of our explanations today. And to the right we've got some multiplication questions if you so wish, just to get your brains going an extra little bit more. Okay, so thinking back to yesterday's lesson then, just a quick recap. I have got 6 clock faces here that you can see, okay? These are called analog clocks, okay? They show us 12 hours of the day, okay? And this is what we're going to focus on really well today. So what if you need to get something from your house to help you draw clock faces in your book, something that has a circular end to it, okay, like a cup or a glass or a bottle, okay, anything that will help you draw circles neatly onto your page, go and grab something now and pause the video. I'm assuming you have something now then, so we can get started. Okay, what I want you to do then is draw these 6 faces in your book, okay, or on your piece of paper. Now, hopefully you remember from yesterday is that we looked at 4 key areas of time, okay, ones that I use quite a lot in everyday life, okay, o'clock, half past, quarter past and quarter to, okay. Just a reminder then, in case you've forgotten anything or you're a little bit confused, when we are drawing time and we are using a clock to do it, we have 2 hands, okay? We have a minute hand and an hour hand. The minute hand is the longer hand and it goes right up to the number of the minutes that it needs that is showing, okay? The hour hand is a lot shorter, but it still points to the hour that we are in for the day, okay? Now, as a recap then, when we are talking about o'clock, the minute hand will always point to the 12. When we talk about half past, the minute hand will always point to the 6. When we are talking about quarter past, the minute hand will always point to 3. And when we are talking about quarter to, the minute hand will always point to 9. Okay? So what I want you to do is show me in your books 6 times of the day where you show at least once all of those times for me. So something o'clock, half past something, quarter past something and quarter to something, okay? Remember to upload those as part of your work in your portfolios for all those members of staff to check, okay? Right, moving on to today's lesson then, okay? Thinking more just about analog times, okay? That knowledge we've just been talking about together will help us solve all these questions a lot easier, okay? You can see you've got 3 analog clocks there without the numbers on them, okay? A, B and C. You will see 3 digital times underneath, numbered 1, 2 and 3. What I want you to do, using your excellent knowledge so far of clocks, is to match those up together, okay? Pause the video here as I'm going to go through the answers on the next slide. Well done if you matched up A to 2, B to 3 and C to 1, okay? You are clearly already becoming an expert on time. Okay, slightly different task this time, but fairly similar, okay? I've already got the analog clock there in front of us, and the minute hand is pointing to 11, the hour hand is pointing just before the 5. Based on what you know of clocks, have a go, see if you can write down in the box there next to me, or us rather, what time it is showing, okay, digitally. You'll notice there's a colon in the middle. The number that comes before the colon is what hour of the day we are in, and the number that comes after the number that comes after the colon is the minute, or how many minutes of the hour we have used. Okay, so pause the video here to have a go at that as I'm going through the answer now. Well done if you drew down or you wrote down 04:55. Okay, starting with the hour, we will know that it's just before the 5. Okay, so therefore it could possibly be 5 o'clock. However, when we look at the minute hand, it has not got to the 12, so we know it can't be o'clock. Okay, so therefore we will know that if you look back, okay, from between each number on an analog clock, the difference between them in time is 5 minutes. Okay, because we know that hopefully in year 4 we know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour, and we should also know then that 12 times by 5 is 60. Okay, so for every time you move to a different hand number on the clock, you are moving 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes before 60 will be 55, hence why 55 is your number of minutes, and therefore 04 is the hour, because we are still in the 4th hour, we are 55 minutes into it. Okay, just at any point if you are confused by anything, make sure you pause the video, rewind it back as far as you need to, and keep listening again. Okay, I'm going through this as clearly and as simply as I can. Okay, so this time, slight swap from the last question, but you'll do just as great at it, I'm sure. You will see there on the left that we have a time, 19 minutes past 12, okay? Use that digital time to draw your minute hand and your hour hand onto the clock, okay? Pause the video here, because I'm going to the answer next. Well done if you place your hands there, okay? Your minute hand, you'll notice, just comes before the 4, and your hour hand comes just after the 12. Okay, same sort of question. Well done if you draw your hands there. Your hour hand comes between the 1 and the 2. Your minute hand comes before, just before the 7 to show 34 minutes past. Next question. 3 minutes past 3. Show me the minute hand and the hour hand. Again, pause the video where you need to. Well done if you place your hour hand just after the 3 or on the 3, and your minute hand 3 dots after the 12 or 2 dots before the 1. Your final go at this, okay, 10:59, okay? Again, we've already talked about this lesson, how many minutes are in an hour, so think very carefully about where your minute hand is going to go, okay? And that should make it easier to see and to show me this time on an analog clock. Pause the video again if you need to. Well done if you placed your hour hand just before the 11 and your minute hand just before the 12, okay? Because obviously if it points to the 12, we know, don't we, in year 4, that means o'clock, okay? And it is 1 minute to it being o'clock, okay? So well done if you place your hands there. Okay. This question is a 2-part question, but it's not at all tricky. It's using the skills we've already looked at so far, and we're just going to put it into this style of question. Dead simple. So, you'll notice we've got 3 analog clocks here, okay? And each of them is showing a different time. Your first job is to work out what time they are showing, okay? You can write that down digitally, okay? Now, you'll notice at the top it says convert these AM times, okay? One of the cool things about analog clocks is, because there is only 12 numbers on there, and we already know as wonderful year 4 students there are 24 hours in a day, that for the hours up until dinner time, till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we would put AM after the number, okay? So for example, if it was 9:15 in the morning, we would put 9:15 AM, because those times show the morning. If it was after 12 o'clock in the afternoon and all the way up to 12 o'clock at night, so midnight, we would put PM after, okay? And that's how we would use an analog time. That's how we would write down an analog time if we are not using a clock, okay? So, as I said before, first part is to work out those times. You put AM after the number to tell us it's the morning. And your second job is to order them from the earliest time of the day to the latest time of the day, okay? Pause the video here to work this out before moving on to the next slide and seeing the answers. Well done if you managed to order these correctly, okay? So your first time and your first answer that comes first is 1:30 AM in the morning, of course. Next would have been 05:54 or 44 minutes past 5. Or if you're super at times, 16 minutes to 6. Either way, that is definitely the right time answer in the middle. And your latest time of the day is, of course, 7:15 in the morning. Okay, another similar question where we're using our analog time skills just to help us break this question down, but still fairly straightforward, okay? Grayson arrives at the dog show at the time shown on the analog clock. He thinks he's on time to watch Agility. Okay, is he correct? Explain why. So again, it's a two-part question, just got to break it down nice and simple. On your left, you've got a clock there, an analog clock that shows a certain time, okay? First of all, you need to work out what that time being shown is. Then you're going to compare it to the start time for the Agility event, because as we know, that's when Grayson wants to watch first, okay? You're then going to look at the two times and then be able to write down for me an explanation. So is Grayson early? Is he on time? Or is he late for watching the Agility event, okay? Pause the video here to work out and go through the answer on the next slide. So well done if you said that Grayson is on time to watch Agility as he's 10 minutes early, okay? Because the analog clock shows 10:23 AM, okay? Very well done if you found that correct answer. Okay, last real question to look at for today. Again, looks like there's a lot going on here, but it's not. Let's break it down and look closer at it together. Okay, we have got 8 different times, okay? 4 of them are shown on an analog clock, as you can see on the left and on the right hand sides. In the middle we've got 4 digital times being shown, but these are not digital clock times because you can see here we've got the AM and the PM, okay? So they are still showing analog times. What you need to do to help answer this question, first of all, is make sure that they are all shown in the same way, okay? That makes it so much easier if they are all shown in either clock faces or in analog times written down, okay? So I suggest the time-saving one is you look at the 4 analog times on the clocks and you convert them into the digital ones in the middle, okay? So for example, your first clock, your top left clock face, it shows 6 minutes past 6, okay? Or 06:06 AM, okay? So it says AM above the clock, so we know it's in the morning. It is 1 minute after the 1 on the minute hand, which means 6 minutes have gone in, or you could just count the dots if you find that easier. And your hour hand is just after the 6, okay? But to work out the other 3 clock faces, to see what times they are showing on the analog clocks, and then all you simply need to do is tell me out of all 8 times which one is the earliest time of the day and which one is the latest time of the day, okay? And then you'll have the right answers. So just pause the video now to work that out because we're going through the answer next. Well done. If you worked out that the top left analog clock that shows 6 minutes past 6 is the earliest time in the day, because it is, or 6:06 AM, and the one that shows the latest time of the day is in fact the analog clock below it, which shows us 10:47 PM. Well done if you worked out those. Our final question. These clocks here both show the same time. What could the missing minute hand or minute missing minute hand and the missing hour be? Okay, so as you can see there on your analog clock to the left, your hour hand is pointing between the 6 and the 7. So think carefully about what number you are going to write on the right hand side digitally, okay? Because if you look at both of them together, one of them is telling us where the hour hand is, the other one is telling us how many minutes, okay? So look carefully at both of them together to be able to solve what each missing part looks like, okay? I'm going to pause the video here to work it out, but it's fairly straightforward, this one. Well done if you got both of these right, okay? So as we talked about, the hour hand was already pointing at the 6, or between the 6 and the 7. So because it's not quite reached the 7 yet, it isn't the 7th hour of the day. So there must only be 6 hours, or it must only be in the 6th hour at this time. So therefore on your digital time on the right, you would write 06:53. Okay? Meaning that to show that time on an analog clock, which we've been doing already this lesson, you would then put your minute hand to 53, which would be 7 minutes before the 12, or 3 after the 10, or 2 before the 11, whichever way you think is easiest to describe that. Okay, but well done if you've shown both of those answers. Okay, so we've worked really hard there throughout that lesson. I know it's a fairly tricky thing, and again, I'll just have a quick reminder. If you feel like you're a little bit stuck on certain parts of this lesson, just rewind it, listen to it again, work hard on it again, okay? Eventually you will understand it ace. And if not, your teachers are just a message away to help you with these questions, okay? But if you are ready for your task, Year 4, as you can see in front of there, can you complete the CGP pages in your book, pages 50 and 51? If you are a panda, can you have a look at page 43 of your book, okay? Don't forget to take a picture of your hard work, send it to your teacher so that they can check that you are an excellent analog time expert, okay? Well done for today's lesson. Again, keep rewinding it if you are stuck.